I like to focus on the issues that really affect people, not on Brett Favre or Kim Kardashian, although I definitely want to know what's going on in her life. I mean, I might have a shot. Is my wife watching?
Are you voting?
Yes.
Yeah. $2 billion on this election. Is that too much or not enough?
Just to go eat. The hell with politics.
Okay, what would you rather do without, your phone or your wife for one day?
Can I pick the day?
So you're more of a listener. Yeah.
Pete, I think already they're printing the bumper stickers. Palin Pete 2012.
Ah, John King, 5 days before Election Day, Sarah Palin so much as sneezes. Will she be the president?
This place is about to erupt. It's packed shoulder to shoulder all the way from here to, I think, South Brunswick, New Jersey.
I didn't come in closed-minded, but it's nice to know there's so many more people that appreciate sanity.
Why did you come here today?
I just wanted to get a spot in the National Portrait Gallery.
And I kick back and relax with one of my favorite shows, the Pete Dominick Radio Hour.
But you know what? I wonder, you guys, I mean, is there anything in place now that would prevent this from happening again? I mean, Pete,
No.
I mean, the thing is that the system is
He's
still
right.
pretty fragile, right?
I mean, listen, the Brown-Frank Wall Street Reform Act, there's some good things in it. There are. Let's be honest. But there was a Kaufman-Brown amendment, Ted Kaufman and Senator Sherrod Brown, two senators, that failed. That would have broken up these banks, these 6 banks or so that have 60% of our GDP, which means if they fail again, and they will because we haven't improved on the oversight and regulations that we need to on things like derivatives.
In our homes, when and where can we talk about these issues? If you're going to be afraid that if you say something on television or radio where it's being recorded, you're going to lose your job, we'll never have the conversation, although we do have the conversation in the privacy of our own homes, and sometimes even at work, Tim. Where and when is it appropriate, or is it always appropriate, and should we not necessarily be afraid of the repercussions of our honesty, even if it does seem ignorant?
Well, I think we need to be...
An issue our offbeat reporter Pete Dominick is tracking closely. Pete?
That's right, John King. On my radio program, I've been talking about this for over a year. A lot of people don't understand it. They hear this term network neutrality, net neutrality, and they just glaze over. They don't know what it means. ISPs and hosts and servers. Here's the deal, John King. Liberals, conservatives, we all want the same thing from our internet service provider. We want it to be fast, and we want it to be consistent. And liberals and conservatives, we don't want big business, and we don't want big government deciding, for me at least, how quickly I get my porn, John King. I want it, and I want it now. That's what Americans want from their...
You have a red shirt, much like the top 5%, Christine.
I am not.
You love to, let's go to the wall. You love to go to the wall. Let's go to the wall. Let's go to the wall. Let's look at the wall, because I want to examine politics, all right? I don't know where I don't know where 1981 is, but I think it's somewhere around here. You just talked about who these people are and who these people. These are people, right?
Yeah.
These are people, these are people.
yeah.
These are voters,
Those
these
are
are
rich
voters.
people, yeah.
These people
Yeah.
got these people to vote for their interests. Period. That's it.
And they're
There
still
you
doing
go. These people are still voting for their
what happened
interests
here? What
because
happened?
This all comes back to everything we've talked about today. TARP and bailouts and all this stuff goes back to what is the role of money in financing campaigns. And
So it all comes back to campaign finance.
everything that's wrong in this country traces its way back to that. Because you as an individual, your voice is, maybe you have a bigger voice and I have a bigger voice than the average voter. But if you're a well-heeled corporation or a well-funded hedge fund, you're swinging a lot more weight than 100 million people in the country.
Now to talk about it, Jesse Ventura, former Minnesota governor and host of True TV's Conspiracy Theory, and Peter Sagal, host of NPR's Wait, Don't Tell Me. You got to admit, guys, on paper, and why this debate is so heated. Stem cells are your body's master cells. Every other cell in your body stems from them, hence the name. Why is that important? Because there are cells in your body that don't normally get replaced. If they get sick or die, you could be out of luck.
I, of course, would never, ever doze off while shooting the Pete on the Street segment.
Wake up, Pete.
Ah, Wolf, back to you.
Ah, funny man, that Pete Dominick.
After 3 months of deliberation, President Obama heeded the advice of his top military advisors, and he went all in. He ramped up troop levels, sending thousands more into the war zone in an effort to stabilize the fragile Afghan government and prepare their security forces for self-reliance. But this year is already the bloodiest for NATO troops since the war began, and public support is slipping. According to the most recent CNN polling, 58% of Americans now oppose the war.
What about you, Pete? You like it? You don't like it?
Now, listen, first of all, if there's so much demand, why don't they just do what Amtrak does? And if you're late, you get to stand in the aisle. You know, if you want to buy an $11 drink, now the people in the aisle can just pass it back to you. And I can just see some speculator, some kid at Goldman Sachs, buying up all these flights on an auction, wrapping them up, bundling them up, and selling them to some poor sap at Citigroup. And lastly, I mean, is someone going to be auctioning these off at the gate? Boca Raton, $450, $450, Boca Raton, Boca. I mean,
our next guest is one of the hottest guys to hit the comedy circuit. He's
no, circus. I've been talking to him.
I've been on the circus. I started with just doing trapeze. And I would do a lot of, you know, an elephant will get on its trunk. I train the elephant to do that, Andrea. And the circus is not an easy life, so I don't know why you're laughing at that, handsome.
Comedian Pete Dominick. He's at Big Week and Frolic all week long.
I can get my face so red. I meant to say comedy circuit.
There is no circuit. First of all, whatever gigs you get, God bless you for booking me here in Cleveland. Let's first talk about how annoyingly handsome you are. It's you're not fair. God just touched you. Are you even white or tan? What are you? I can't even figure out. Each week, people do great things. Sometimes it makes the news, sometimes it doesn't. Either way, here's a look at 4 people this week who are much better than me.
Let me ask you, Pete, you also, I guess everybody heard the speech a little differently. And one of the things that you took away from it is that you are the father of 2 young girls.
Exactly, Allie Velshi. Last night, my wife put my 6- and 3-year-old to bed. You know, I go in first and mess them all up, and she fixes it all, whatever I broke. And then she walked into the room, and there I was on the couch. Waterworks, man, just crying, tears coming down my face because I was thinking about this little girl and I was thinking about the president, and he broke up for just a millisecond. You could hear a crack in his voice when he talked about her because he has a daughter, 2 daughters, one close to her age. And I'll tell you, here's what I took from this. I think a good leader should ask the people he is leading or she is leading to do something. And he did. Last night he said we should a number of times.
Pete? Well, yeah, John. Well, originally, we were going to talk about what happened on Wall Street, and look who I bumped into.
Mr. King, how are you?
Hi, Michael. How are you?
I can't hear you.
He said, how are you?
Hello. Oh, hi.
He wants to know what you're doing out here on our street.
Your street?
This is Pete.
This is my street, too.
No, it's not. It is mine. This is my piece.
Well, I'm not going to fight you over that.
Listen, you're a tough man.
No, I yield. It's your street.
You're yielding.
I'm just passing through on my way to Amarillo.
You need sadness to appreciate happiness. You need sickness to appreciate health. You need rain to appreciate the sun. And I think Americans are learning maybe how the rest of the world lives. And through this struggle, I think that we're gonna come out stronger, more creative. In the end, hopefully, more prosperous.
Optimistic way to.
I like it.
You know, this is it. When you have to grow up with no hair, you don't learn to look at the bright side of things. Pete
I
Dominick.
had hair in my. It was 24, Allie. I mean, you know,
Worked. He is in prison for the rest of his life without the chance for parole. Goodbye, Faisal Shahzad. And thank you for watching today. Remember, stay engaged, think for yourself, and have a great weekend. I'm Pete Dominick. We'll see you next week.